to the West Ham world. It's Luke here. How you all doing? The Premier League is back finally. Listen, towards the end of last season, I was ready. I was ready for it to end. I'd had enough. I started to lose interest. It was really hard doing the previews and reviews. But every season, you start with a little bit of optimism and a little bit of excitement that the league's back. It's just great to have football back. Great to see Tottenham lose yesterday as well, wasn't it? That was great. Best way for them to lose as well for me. Let them have their 2-0 right to that 85th minute and they think that it's not going to change. They start getting leery and then boom, they're humbled. Brilliant way to see them lose. But anyway, it's West Ham versus Sunderland. It's a tough start for West Ham. Could have been harder. If you wanted to pick a team to play, you probably would have picked, maybe like a Wolves or someone like that, or a Bournemouth that have lost a few players. Always playing the newly promoted teams is tough because, especially when they've been away for a long time, like Sunderland have been away for a few years. They're a big club. They're a big, very well celebrated, and they're a good club. I like Sunderland. Obviously, links there with Paolo Di Canio and stuff like that when he was manager there. And a few of our managers, obviously David Moyes is managed there. So it's a tough place to go. It's going to be full. It's going to be a good atmosphere. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. This is our first meeting in 8 years. The last time we met was back in 2017, a 2-2 draw. Goals for us from James Collins and Andre Ayew. A long time ago now. And the last 3 games actually up there has been draws. I think we beat them a couple of times at home, but up there is always a draw, usually. I remember a great FA Cup game. I think it was the game after we had beaten Manchester United with Paolo Di Canio. And we went up there, I think we won 2-1, if I remember. Canute scored and maybe Di Canio scored in that game. And then obviously the rest is history. We went out to Tottenham in the quarter-final. Let's have a look. So, outs for them in terms of transfers. Bellingham was a big out for them. Obviously, he went to Borussia Dortmund, 32 million. Good player. Probably will go on and have maybe not as successful as Jude, but will definitely go on and have a really good career in the game. What's his Sam? Howdy, Luke. We can hear you, but the mic's crackling. What's that, Sam? But the mic's crackling. You might need a better one. I'll tell you what, I'll sit a bit closer. It might be because I'm sitting a bit further away. Anyway, let's carry on. They've also lost Watson as well, but they have invested very, very well. 130 million they've invested, Sunderland. They've brought in Alderette, centre-back. Dewey, Lefebvre, very good player. Diarra, player we were linked with. And Masuaku's recently just come in as well, so we'll be playing against us. Maybe we'll start that game as well. And for me, the best signing that they've pulled off is Granit Xhaka. They've bought a captain, a leader, a winner. Probably would have done a good job for West Ham, to be honest with you. He's getting on a little bit. He's a little bit older now, but he's a good player. And he was well respected at Arsenal. It went a little bit wobbly for a little while when he threw his shirt off and stuff. But this man's a winner. He's a leader, and he will definitely, add something to their midfield. He will add something to their midfield, and it'll be a good battle. And there's a position that West Ham are weak in at the moment is midfield. Lack of mobility, lack of some runners. So yeah, like I say, Lefebvre's a good player as well. And Diarra, the physicality, they could have a real good balance in midfield if it works out with Xhaka, Lefebvre and Diarra. We'll wait and see. In pre-season, no, it hasn't gone that well for them. I know you can't read too much into pre-season. The Avram Grant is always repeated with West Ham. We won every single game that year and went down. They won their first game, 4-0, and then they've lost 3 in pre-season. So, again, and they're not scoring a lot of goals in pre-season either. Again, can't look too much into it. You can take a little bit, if a player's scoring well in pre-season, especially goal scorers, it keeps them confidence. But winning is something that breeds confidence. I think West Ham's pre-season has been quite successful in terms of, we beat Bournemouth, we beat Everton, beat Lille, beat Grasshoppers, and only lost to Manchester United. What's it saying here? Brian P says Xhaka is 33 next month. Great sign of success. He is, mate. He's 33, but he will do a job and he'll give some experience and a winning mentality. I will come back into the comments. I'm just going to carry on here. So they usually play a 4-3-3 formation. Their style of play is compact defence, quick counters, and they use their wingers a lot. Their strengths are counter-attacking, late goals last season, and they've got lots of individual skill. This is all based on last season, obviously. It's hard to build up a real sort of perspective or idea of how they're going to play in the Premier League because you don't know whether they'll revert to a more solid style, even though they've got that compact defence. You don't know, obviously, new players, the loss of players. So you have to sort of just half build it on what they did last season and try and get an idea. Weaknesses last season was aerial duels and the defence was quite slow. So we'll wait and see. This is Graham Potter's first time he's ever met Sunderland as well as a manager. Something I always look for, like what's the manager's record against Sunderland or what, the club we're going to play. Never played a Potter as a manager, so it's fresh for him. Looking at us, guys, we know what the formation is going to be. It's going to be the 5-3-2 or the 3-5-2, whatever you want to call it out as. We can more or less predict the lineup. Maybe Hermansen will start, but I don't think so. I don't think Potter will be that harsh. I think Areola will start the game. Hermansen will gradually work his way into the team as the season goes on, unless it's a mad mistake, and then he puts him straight in for Chelsea. But we know what he wants to play. He wants to play, a style that invites teams to come and press us. We can play our way out of it, and hopefully over time it will get better. But we do need better players. We need some midfielders that can actually do that and are a bit more mobile. We know the defence will probably be a Gerd, Kilman and Tobido. Juve on the left, Wan-Bissaka on the right. Midfield, I think two pick themselves automatically, and that's and this is from Potter's perspective, not mine. Paquetá and Ward-Prowse, I think, pick themselves. It's Potts' position that maybe he brings in Alvarez, maybe he brings in Soucek. I want Potts to start. Let's make that clear. I want Potts to start. If it was up to me, it would be Alvarez in the sit-in, Potts slightly higher role, give him the legs, see what he can do, and Paquetá, and then obviously Bowen and Fulkrug up front. We know it's going to be the passive passing style, but we need to add some. He needs to add some sort of element of surprise, maybe a little bit quicker in the midfield, snappier passing. When we do get it going and we get some triangles going, which we see briefly in pre-season in a couple of games, we look quite good. Youth is an absolute nightmare for defenders, and it will definitely provide us with a chance to push their fullbacks back, because that crossing is dangerous. And as the season goes on, I think you'll see teams double up on him, which again could provide more space on the other side or in the middle, because that cross is very, very dangerous. Will we see Wilson in this game? Apparently he's got quite a good record against Sunderland. Might see him off the bench. So yeah, it's like I say, it's a game we've got to try and start strong in terms of the whole game, in terms of winning the game or whatever. We don't want to be in a relegation battle this season. I can deal with mid-table. It's sad that we're saying that already this season. It's like, I can deal with 12th or whatever. I want us to be back up qualifying for Conference League, Europa League. I want us to be back there. But at the moment, there's no evidence to say we are. So I don't want us to be in a relegation battle. I want us to get the points on the board as quickly as possible. This could be a game that turns to be a 6-pointer at the end of the season, where if Sunderland were down there, it's a game where you want to take the points. You want to take the points. I think we can. I think we can go there and win. It won't be easy, like I say, with the atmosphere, new players, energy. They'll be full of energy, their team. But I think we've looked okay in pre-season. I think we've looked good in pre-season. So hopefully we can do it. My actual prediction is a 2-2 draw, though. I think it will be a board draw, like someone just said there. Not a board draw, not 0-0. I think it'll be 2-2. I think we've got goals in us. I think Juice Crossing will provide Fulkrug or Bowen with a goal. I wouldn't surprise me if we give a penalty away. We do love giving a penalty away. We've got to be careful with the wing-back system, with the being caught out in that position between full-back and centre-back. We're quite solid, though. We are quite solid. We don't concede really silly goals. It's more individual mistakes that are silly goals. Defence is usually quite solid. We're quite compact. And if we do that against Sunderland, hopefully we can get a bit more expressive later on in the game if Potter takes his shackles off and lets us win. Right, let's have a look here. Morning, Luke. I think we'll grind out a 1-0 win. I hope so, mate. It would be good. I'm not a fan of the 5-3-2. I'm not either, mate. I think you lose something in midfield and attack as well. It like I say, it makes us harder to score against, and defensively we've been a bit better. But of course we're going to be if you play an extra defender. I want Potts to start Saturday, but I think he'll play Souček. I agree, mate. I think Potts could be the one that suffers, which will be sad. I want to see Potts in there. He's West Ham boy, gets it. I don't want to see that. Wasim says, I think it will be a board draw. I hope not. I've got a 5 on a 4-1 win. That would be great. What a great start that would be if it was a 4-1. It'd be great to see Fulkrug keep up his scoring. Yeah, I want to see him scoring, and really get his confidence up. He could get 10 goals if his confidence is there. I want to see Guilherme at some point as well. These are the sort of games, if it was mid-season, you'd be thinking of bringing Guilherme on in this sort of game, a team that potentially will be not hopefully, because like I say, it's nothing against Sunderland, but a team that you would suspect that will be down there. You want to bring Guilherme on, give him some, chance to play and chance to shine. That's it from me. Premier League is back, thank God. All kicks off tomorrow. Liverpool, Bournemouth, some great games this weekend. I think it's Aston Villa, Newcastle, Arsenal, Manchester United. West Ham, Sunderland. There's some great games in there. Big boxing as well with Toma versus Dylan White. Really looking forward to that. So yeah, that's from me. If you watch live, thank you very much. Hit the like button before you leave. Subscribe if you're new. Let me know what you think. What formations do you want to see? What's your predicted lineup? What are your fears? What are your hopes for the season? Come on, you Irons. Keep believing. I'll be back Saturday night, Sunday morning. Let's go.